Yeah, I've noticed some of you don't want a bloody gospel. And to the extent that we're alike, I understand that. But that's not how it is. We might just as well admit that. If you're like me, you want to dodge it. If you're not like me, then you've already embraced it. And you know this is true. It's a bloody gospel. It's full of suffering. So don't think it's not. And it's full of a death that goes beyond the word death. The word death is just a metaphor. It's an idea that man has. God knows what death is. God knows what death is. Jesus knows what death is when he says, I was dead and am now alive. So for us, it's just an idea, a concept of something that doesn't mean much till we begin to enter into it, get a glimpse of it, the meaning of the word, not the word. And so you can deny that you're like me. I can appear like I don't want to be like you. I can appear like this guy must think he's really something. But I'm pretty convinced I'm a man. Just a man. Just like you are just a man. And so I understand the inclination for it to not be such a bloody gospel, and to make it into some kind of sterile mind exercise that can be completed by book study, can be completed by recitation, can be completed in some way by enduring tutelage, let's say, under what are considered the grand masters. If you have the right teacher, if you can quote the right sentences or the right verses in this case, then you can, if you vomit them back, then you get the approval of the master. And perhaps, like me, you once thought that, okay, this thing will result in some kind of change in me, whereby I'm going to just be filled with this magnanimous love for everyone. I'm just going to come to a place of complete contentment and just overflowing benevolence toward everyone, toward all men. Yeah, one could think that. But as I said earlier in another video, as you come to understand man, that you are a man, what is in man, you'll begin to understand the wonder of the love of God for man. It seems a curious paradox, because the more you learn of man, the less sense it will make that God would want to salvage anything about man. There is nothing salvageable to you. And so, trying to structure a gospel where there is just something so wonderful in man that God cannot resist, that God has to, is under some obligation to redeem this wonderful thing, a compelling, to have this thing that's just so great and has always been so great. And that could be true were it not for the fall and for sin. That could be. You could make that case. But you cannot make it on the other side of the entrance of sin. That required a bloody gospel to restore, to at least restore. But the thing is, you will find even a greater wonder, that the restoration is not to the estate prior to the eating of the fruit. It is the call to the man of heaven who never fell, could never fall or fail, and never did. You see, it's not just Adam getting a second turn. As I myself had often thought in the past, I would think, gee, it's like God is giving man a second chance. And thinking, okay, this time I won't eat the fruit. But if he's the same creature, he's going to do what that creature always does. The first man is of the earth and is earthy. That does not change. The second man is the man from heaven, the man of the Spirit. So the call is to a new creature, not a restoration of a once unsinning creature, yet capable of it. Now, of course, this upsets our theology. It has to. It should. It must. We structured so much around thinking we're kind of different than Adam. But it's only when we admit we are just like Adam in every way, with an inclination to the things of the earth, an inclination to grasp at power, an inclination to want to be a something, a desire to want to have a something, acquire a something in a way that is not legitimate. Then we begin to understand what man is. Then the wonder begins to take over. The wonder of God for such a lowly thing. And so if you're like me, you may even think you're getting a little cynical, and you may wonder, why should I be feeling this way? Shouldn't I just love everybody all the time? Every situation that could come into my mind, shouldn't I just have a complete and total enrapture with forgiveness and mercy toward all? Shouldn't I just be so suffused, infused, overcome in every way with just a happy beneficence or beneficence? But Jesus knew what was in man, was not ever reluctant to say, if you who are evil know how to give good things to your children, not needing the testimony of man, because he knew what was in the heart of man, all fickleness, all sorts of unfaithfulness, disloyalty, boasting, pride. Now the amazing thing is, as we come to find, that the man who said, I am ready, Lord, to go with you to prison and to death, he just didn't know how that ready was going to be accomplished. Because he did, eventually. But he had some things to learn about himself, about man, and the wondrous love of God for such a creature. Without any naivete, without any illusion, without any projection of some kind of amiable spirituality. He knew man. He knew himself. He had his night of weeping bitterly at who and what he was, and seeing himself for who and what he was. And on the day of Pentecost, he preached to man. And because he preached in the truth of the Holy Spirit to murderers, many were saved. And his steps were ordered to that place of drinking the cup that was promised to him, not thinking anything of himself, but being grateful for being included. You be blessed.